Hello everybody and welcome to the channel, Out of Ammo, Out of Time. I'm your host, Krabby Terror 8, and here we are in episode 4 of the Investigator game's Eldritch Horror Edition. Yes, and this week it's time for Jacqueline Fine to step up to the plate, everybody's favourite psychic. And she is going to be running through Eldritch Horror against Azathoth, and we will see how she goes. Yes, we've already had 3 intrepid investigators take on Azathoth, and as we can see in the table, there's been quite a varied response, quite a varied success rate. You can see Lily Chen is doing the best at the moment, managing to scoop up a couple of mysteries and do reasonably well. Poor old Harvey really didn't do well at all, and Rex was somewhere in between. But it's pretty tough on True Solo to achieve certain mysteries. But as I've said before, it's not really about playing the game perfectly or finishing and getting all the mysteries. It's about the relative performance of the investigators. Oops, excuse me. I'm just going to adjust the camera here a little bit. I think we might save that. There we go. Just save that. So yes, we'll see how Jacqueline Fine goes. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just go round the table, just make sure everything's set up, and we can draw the various bits and pieces, and then we can see how we go. A couple of things. If you're new to Eldritch Horror, the card game, then I really would recommend that you play the game in real life. I'm assuming that you know how to play and that you've played before. So I would hardly recommend that you do that. A couple of other things, just from last time. I do want to just give a shout out to David Coe, who's been very nicely giving me feedback on my gameplay, and I do appreciate that. So yes, thank you for any feedback anybody might be giving me as we go along. So we've got our Mythos deck set up here. Don't need to draw that at the moment, but I've already done that. I'll just shuffle up these unique assets and spells, and then I'll shuffle up the actual assets and we can draw those out. So what have we got here? We've got a Police Raid. When you gain this card, immediately choose a space. Each monster on the chosen space loses 3 health, then discard the card. Very nice. We also get a Spirit Dagger. +1 will, +2 fight during combat encounters. We also get a 25 automatic. Instead 45 automatic then. It's a 25 automatic. Roll an additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. And finally, a Bullwhip. Yes, so it gives you +1 during combat encounters. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test. So very nice, fairly cheap. So there we go. We've got quite a range of different things. I think probably for Jacqueline, the Spirit Dagger is probably quite the way to go in this particular case. But we'll see how we go. Just shuffle up the artifacts. Shuffle these up. Now I won't shuffle up the Expedition deck because we did choose Istanbul when we shuffled it earlier, so I put the Expedition piece onto Istanbul. Let's shuffle up these other world cards and all these other bits and pieces as we go around the table. The Mythos Phase is set at 15. Just do the research encounters here. There's Azathoth. We'll just shuffle up the mystery cards, and the first mystery we get is Omen of Devastation. The Nemesis moon appears in the night sky, visible to all and heralding an imminent doom. When an investigator closes a gate that corresponds to the current omen, he may spend 1 clue to place 1 Eldritch token on this card. At the end of the Mythos Phase, if there are Eldritch tokens on this card equal to 1, solve this mystery. This one's not too bad, but the problem is syncing it with particular gates. So you have to close a gate that corresponds to the current omen, so that can be a bit finicky sometimes depending on what gates come out. So we'll just have to see. That could take a little while to resolve, but we'll see how we go. Speaking of which, let's bring out some things. So first of all, we will bring out a gate, and the gate that we bring out is Shuggay. So there we go. With a monster. If you fail a will test, gain a curse. Oh, what was it? Before I start reading. It's a witch. It's a witch. So, what's the witch? If you fail a will test, gain a curse condition. Ouch. Each investigator who has a curse condition loses health. Ouch. Okay, a bit nasty. I want to get rid of her. So there we go. She's in Shuggay. The witch of Shuggay has arrived. Let's shuffle up and put a clue on the table. So the clue is number 16, which is somewhere up here. Is it here? Let's just check. It is. It's there on the city encounter. Okay. All right. So that's the clues done. We've got our mystery in place. We've got the expedition on the table. Here's our. This is the turn counter that we're using, because part of the Investigator games is not only how you perform and how many mysteries you get and where the doom is, but how many turns it might take. There's Flesh Ward, which is what Jacqueline Fine gets. So yeah, just looking at Jacqueline Fine now. Jacqueline Fine is the psychic. She has a 4 health or physiological index and an 8 psychological index. So clearly strength and taking physical damage is not her thing. We want to avoid that as much as possible. But she's very mentally strong. As you can see, her strength is 1, so really not really a fighter from that perspective. But her will and her law are very high. Her observation's pretty good, but her influence is a bit on the weak side as well. So really very much a spellcaster type, and we'll be very much looking for spells for Jacqueline. Now if we flip Jacqueline over and have a look, I'll ignore the right-hand side because it's solo, but she starts in American Heartland on Space 5. She starts with a Flesh Ward spell and 1 clue. At first, Jacqueline's dreams of fire and destruction seemed like a curse. Monsters ran rampant through city streets and some greater darkness loomed on the horizon. However, she has recently learned to control her visions and observe events in detail. Yesterday, she travelled from Boston to Minneapolis to explore an abandoned warehouse she'd seen in her dreams. Inside, she found evidence of a terrible cult that had practiced unspeakable rituals there. Jacqueline hopes to use what she's learned to prevent the terrible future that haunts her sleep. Yes, now, just in terms of her special abilities are really kind of multiplayer oriented. So action, you may trade any number of clues with an investigator on any space. Well, there aren't any investigators, so we won't be doing that. And once per round, when another investigator gains a non-common condition, you may look at the back of the card and gain a clue. Well, we can't do that either, because so really neither of her actions are going to be of any use, which means we're going to worry about them, but they're not really going to come into play in this particular one. So we really don't have any special actions, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes. Our Flesh Ward is once per round when an investigator would lose health, you may test law. If you pass, prevent that investigator from losing up to 2 health and flip the card. So there you go, that's quite good, seeing as we only have 4 health. So I think that's everything set up now. I think we're ready to go here in the Investigator games and see how Jacqueline goes. I'll just adjust the tilt of the table a little bit. Just a little bit so that we can see her. Yeah, that's probably too much. That's probably a little bit better. I'll probably save that now as camera 1. Here we go. Okay, so let's get going. We're here in the American Heartland. So the main thing we've got to do is we've got to close a gate at the same time as if it corresponds to the current omen. Now, other gates are going to arise, of course, but at the moment there's only one gate on Shuggay, which would mean getting all the way over here in 2 turns, and I'm not sure we can do that particularly effectively. So I think what we do is wait around and hope some more gates pop up, which I'm sure they will, which are closer to us, that we can close. So in the interim, I think we'll just spend some time setting up. So I think our first action, let's have a look here. What does Arkham give us? Gain incantation spells. Well, that seems like a good place to go. So why don't we move to Arkham, where we can potentially get an incantation spell. And the next thing is, let's have a look here in the reserve. I think of any of these, I think I really like the idea of the Spirit Dagger. I mean, this police raid could also be good, but it's much more, lots of monsters and things. So I might consider that. 25 automatic would also be good, I suppose, because it would help us in terms of strength encounters, but they're all weak because they're just an additional die. It'd be better to have something stronger, because this gives us +1 will and +2, so it's perfect. So I think we're going to go for this Spirit Dagger. So we have an influence of 2, so let's just move the dice over here that we're going to roll. Let's roll them up. So our first action is to use our influence to see whether we can get the Spirit Dagger. So we roll those up, and we get a +1, so we'll take a debt condition there, and we will take the Spirit Dagger. That gave us a 3, but yeah, I think we will just take, I don't think you can take more than one thing, you can just take one thing, so we're going to use the debt condition to get ourselves the Spirit Dagger, which will be very helpful. Okay, so let's put a new one here in the reserve. We want to get a Tommy gun. Wow, that actually might be quite helpful as well for combat encounters. Okay, so that's the end of our action phase. We moved to Arkham, and then we got the Spirit Dagger. Maybe we should have done that first, and we could have gotten rid of the debt condition, but I really wanted to get to Arkham. Then we have an encounter phase in Arkham. So we will draw here and see what we get for Arkham. You are suddenly confronted in Meadow Hill by an unnameable presence. The sign of the creature horrifies you beyond description. Willpower. Okay, so we've got a willpower of 3. So let's put 3 dice up here. Let's roll away. Hopefully we'll get a 5 or a 6. And we indeed do get a 6, so we pass. If you pass, it imparts strange knowledge on you. Gain 1 incantation spell. Great. Okay, so spells. Well, did we shuffle this up? Because we already have a Flesh Walk. Gain 1 incantation spell. It doesn't say what the incantation spell has to be or the first thing. So we just gain 1. So I'll just keep until I get a different one. Ritual. Glamour. Ritual. Incantation. Binding. When you or another investigator on any space resolves a combat encounter, you may test law. If you pass, reduce the monster's damage to 1 during that encounter. Okay. Let's take that. That's quite good. So we now have an extra spell. So it's really about damage reduction now, because we've got this one, which prevents 2 health, and then this one, which actually, to 1. So 2 ways of managing that. Okay, let's move all these back onto here. Shuffle that up. There we go. Okay. So that's the encounter phase. So we've got ourselves with lots of spells. I think now it's time to draw from the Mythos deck and see what we get. And, let's flip that. Okay. Cold Snap. Frostbite stings your ears and nose as you stagger through cold, desperate to find any sort of shelter. Well, before we read this, what am I doing? Before we read this, let's do all the other bits and pieces first. So we move We move it around to here. I should put this away as well. That's the first thing, so we move the Omen track around. I always forget this, I don't think we do anything if we don't have advance clockwise, the advance doomed by 1 for each gate on the board. That's all we do, or there isn't anything, so yeah, that's all fine. So the next thing we do is anything with a red lightning bolt. Well, I think there's, at the moment, there are 2 things. There's the witch. Let's see what the witch says. The witch says, each investigator who has a curse condition loses a health. Well, we don't have a curse condition, so that's all fine. However, some men have come to let you flip this card. Oh dear. Okay. Part of your essence that was the deal, and failure to live up to your end of the bargain has cost you and the world more than you bargained for. Resolve the reckoning effect of each Rumour Mythos card in play, unless you discard a talent condition. Then discard this card. Well, we don't have a talent condition. There's no, so it's fine. Fine, we'll put it back on here. Lovely. Okay, well that was easy enough. Whoops. There we go. Okay. And then finally we're going to draw a gate. That's great. So we'll just roll them up. Draw a gate. And the gate is Arkham. It's red as well, but that's where we are. So all we have to do is hang out here now. With it's flipped over. Let's flip it over again. Let's move ourselves out of the way. Let's put that on here. As long as the monster's not too bad. What do we get? Color out of space. Okay. Color out of space. When this monster is spawned, move it to Tunguska. Okay. Well, we must. Wow. Well, that was good. There's a bit of luck, actually. So all we need to do is we just have to wait for this to pop round to the next one. And we can close the gate, hopefully. All fingers. So I think that, fingers crossed. So hopefully, as long as maybe we spend a bit more time setting ourselves up, we should be in a pretty good space to do that. So that's brilliant. So now let's read the rest of this. So as we said, frostbite stings your ears and nose as you stagger through the cold, desperate to find any sort of shelter. The bitter cold has crept into your coat and gloves, chilling you to the bones. Not to the bone, to the bones. Each investigator loses 1 health and 1 sanity and gains a hypothermia condition. Oh, dear. Okay, 1 health, 1 sanity, and we gain a hypothermia condition. When you perform a rest action, you cannot recover health. Roll 1 down, a 4, 5, or 6, discard the card. If you gain... Okay, so we can rest, but we won't be able to recover health, which is bad for us. Health is where we're weakest, so we need to get rid of that. Okay, so that's the end of the Mythos phase. So we're into turn 2. Jacqueline is here in Arkham. We want to stay in Arkham because we want to close this gate. So what are we going to do? So there's a couple of things we can do from here. We could gain ourselves another deck condition and take one of these on. Well, the Tommy gun would be rather nice, wouldn't it? Quite expensive. The 25 automatic. Roll an additional dice. But we've already got this that gives us +2 already. So, the police raid... Yes. Or do we look to do something else, like take a focus, something which would allow us to re-roll a dice as well. Or we could get ourselves a ticket. We could get ourselves a C ticket, which might be handy. So I might do that. I think I might get myself a C ticket. And then I'm going to rest, which means I get my sanity back up, but I don't get my health back up. Roll a 1 die on a 4, 5, or 6. So let's move these out of the way and see if we get a 4, 5, or a 6. Roll it up. And we get a 6. Fantastic. So we're no longer suffering from exposure. Oh, we took the whole lot. I do that in Tabletop Simulator sometimes. I take the whole lot. You're probably all screaming at me going, "You've taken the whole lot!" Oh, just want to take one card, so we'll put that one over there. Shuffle up the rest. Not flip them. Shuffle them up. Okay. So there we go. That's so we got ourselves a ship ticket, and then we rested and we got rid of the hypochondria. So that's good. Okay, so we move into the next phase, which is the encounter phase. We're in Arkham again, so let's do another Arkham encounter. The administrators of Arkham's Historical Society take great pains to show you their extensive collection of historical documents. You may become delayed and gain 2 spells. Well, that would be a problem. See, this is why this mystery is a bit of a bugger, because if this flips around, we're delayed, then it may flip around again. Let me think about this. So if we became delayed, we got the 2 spells. It flipped around, we didn't get the encounter, we would miss it, and then we would have to then... So, whilst having 2 spells would be really, really nice, I think we forgo that, because I want to get this mystery. And one thing I've learnt playing this game is the faster you get the mysteries, the better. So let's move into the Mythos phase. Having said that, it's probably one that doesn't... Oh, yes, it does. Fantastic. Okay, so this is a green one. First of all, this goes around here. Now, it's on a red, and there are 2 reds. There's Arkham and Shuggay. So this moves by 2 to 13. We get a monster surge, so we do surge for the monsters, and I think there's just 1 monster appears on each corresponding gate, if I'm not much mistaken. Yes, that's right. So let's just shuffle up the monsters, and the first monster is a cultist. This here was for Arkham, sorry, I should have said. Okay. So we will put that onto Arkham. And the other one, shuffle it up, for Shuggay is a Zoog. What does that look like? Ooh, a fine looking monster. Ooh. Move this monster to the nearest investigator, and then investigator discards an item possession. Ouch! That is really, really nasty. Oh my goodness. So that's going here on Shuggay. In a way, it would have been better if it had been in Arkham, because if we lose, I think the only item we have at the moment is the Spirit Dagger. So we might want to get another item so that we can... that's really nasty. Alright, so that's that one. Then a clue. We will shuffle up the clues, and we get a clue in number 15, which is down here. Okay, there's the clue. You have pushed yourself through countless trials, always on the verge of breaking. With each passing day, you prepare yourself for the worst possible outcome. Yep. So true. Prepare for anything. Each investigator may gain 1 focus, spend 1 focus to gain 1 clue, or spend 1 clue to improve a skill of his choice. I can gain a focus. I wish I'd gotten a focus now. Spend a focus to gain a clue, or spend a clue to improve a skill of his choice. I think we need the... Do we need the... Yes. So I'm not going to spend the clue, but I will get a focus. Hello? There we go. Get a focus. Okay, so we've got a focus. Very nice. Okay, so not too bad, that one, actually. Pretty good. Okay, so that's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into turn 3. And indeed, we can now do this when we get to the gate time. But before we do that, we have 2 actions that we can do. First action, I think, is I want to get myself some kind of item that I can then readily lose. So I'm going to use 2 influence, because I don't want to lose my other piece. I'll roll up my Spirit Dagger. I fail, but I could take a debt. Yes. I guess I'll take a debt. Oops. Taking the whole lot again. We'll take a debt condition. So that immediately gives us 2. So I think we just take the 25 automatic. Yep. Okay. Now we have a choice. We could either get rid of the debt condition, or we could increase our health by 1. I'm feeling like we should try and get rid of this debt condition. So let's roll up again. So we can get rid of the debt condition. And we do. So we get rid of the debt condition. Very nice. Okay. So 2 actions. We got ourselves a 25 automatic. And then we got rid of the debt condition. What do we get here? We Agents of Secrets. Oh, an ally. Get +1. Oh, that's, wow. 4, very expensive. Really would be good to get, but super expensive. Okay. So encounter time, let's see if we can close this gate. So it's time to see whether we can close the gate. Fingers crossed. Here we go. The Great Hall of Ciliano. Something terrible happened in this section of the library. The walls are scorched, most of the books are ruined, and the shelves seem to be on the brink of collapse. Ooh, the smell of burnt flesh. The smell of burnt flesh. The smell of burnt flesh threatens to overwhelm you. Willpower test. Well, we're a willpower of 3. Okay. So let's see how we go with a willpower of 3. So roll that up. And yes, we pass, thank goodness. So we pass that. You endure the scent. Oh, wow, we don't mind burnt flesh that much. And find the book you seek. Gain 1 random tome asset from the deck. 1 random tome asset, hey? Spells, artifacts. Ooh, where are the tomes? Then the artifact deck. Gain 1 random tome asset. Are they unique assets? Spells? Just asset. Random tome asset. Well, there we go. There's 1 there. That's a tome asset. I'm assuming they're in this. So I'm just going to assume it's just a normal tome asset, not a unique tome. So gain 1 random tome asset. So let's just start dragging them off the top until we get 1. News report. Syndicate agent. Oops. Hired muscle. Urban guide. You know, this is going to take forever, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these back over. And I'm going to pull out all of the tomes. There's not that many, I don't think, tome assets. Because if I search for tome, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I group those all together. I shuffle them. And just draw the first one. That's what we get. Item tome. Tome of Secrets. Once per round you may spend 1 focus in place of spending 1 clue. When you perform a focus action, recover a sanity. There we go. Okay, that's nice because we do have a focus token, so that was, that was quite nice. Alright, let's put all these back into here. Let's close this up. Shuffle that up. Very nice. Okay, so Tome of Secrets. So we can convert. Spend 1 focus instead of a clue. Fantastic. Where were we? The text includes a cryptic warning. Lore. Okay, well we've got a 4 lore, so let's roll up 4. See how we go. Oh, you're kidding. We didn't get any of them. Can we can re-roll 1 die though. When you perform a focus action, recover 1 sanity. No, that's focus action to get a focus, but we can spend a focus to re-roll just 1 dice. And we get a 5. Fantastic. Okay. Whew. Wow, that was worth it. If you pass, you disarm the arcane trap and close this gate. Oh my goodness, we were that close to failing. I think that's what you could... I better just double check with a focus you can... does it show it on here? It actually doesn't show that you can gain a focus, but I'm almost sure you can use a focus to re-roll something. Okay, so we close the gate. So the gate is now closed. Woohoo! We'll just put them on here. So the gate is closed. Except there's a cultist on here we should have dealt with first. Oh boy, let's deal with... I'm sorry, I totally forgot the fact that there was a cultist on here. So let's deal with this cultist. So it's a will test. So we have a will of 3. I do apologise, I completely forgot he was on there. Let's roll it up. What do we get? We get a 5, but also we were using the spirit dagger, so we would have got an extra 1 to do that. Yeah, so we got 1, I think. Or was it 2? No, 2 5s. So we got 2 5s. 2 5s and a 1. So we got a 2 versus a 1, so we defeated the cultist. But I think we take it, lose 1 health and defeat the monster. But when you would lose health, we can test to see if we can prevent that. So let's do that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a law test to see whether we can prevent that. And indeed we succeed. So we got actually 3. So we flip this card, and what happens with a 3? Flesh and bone men themselves with hardening as attack. Prevent that investigator from losing health up to your test result. Flip this card. So yeah, we easily dealt with it. I apologise for that. I should have done that first. That was a big oversight. But anyway, didn't matter. It was resolved things. Everything went perfectly fine. So it was only a cultist anyway. So yeah, so that means we can put a clue on this mystery. No, we can spend a clue. Sorry, we can spend a clue. And then we can put an Eldritch token on that card. And now we just got to wait for the end of the Mythos Phase. So there we go. So fantastic. All right. So that was good. That was a good outcome. I'm feeling really positive about this now. Let's move forward into, that's the encounter phase. So let's move into the Mythos phase and flip the card. And what have we got here? So, so first of all, we move this around. So good job we did it when we did it. We then go into the lightning bolt. So there's a couple of lightning bolts. The witch, well, we don't have any kind of curse condition, so that's fine. But, however, having said that, not the colour out of space, but the Zoog, move this monster to this investigator, and that investigator discards an item possession. So the Zoog moves across to here. We lose an item possession, which will be the weapon. It's pretty nasty, but that's why we got it. I think we'd better deal with this Zoog. How difficult are they to... Oh, they're easy. If you fail a observation test, discard... Oh, okay. I remember that. Okay, so we're going to deal with that Zoog. What else have we got that we need to do in terms of... I don't think there's anything else. I think those are the only things. So that's good. Okay, and then we draw a gate. The gate we get is London. That's nice and close, so we can... That's good. Monster. Ooh, a Wendigo. Ooh. If you defeat this monster during a combat encounter, roll 1 down and 1 and 2, gain a hunger condition. Okay, so we'll flip that, put the Wendigo onto London. There we go. Alright. The wizened old monk whispers, I have spent eons preparing for this darkness, but time has shown me that humanity may not be worthy. What would you give of yourself? What will you offer to prove that you deserve to be saved? Advance the doom by 1 unless the lead investigator gains an agreement condition. What is an agreement condition? Is that a deal? Yes, it is. All right. All right. So, local action. If you pass, you may spend 2 clues. Ooh, do we do that? Or do we, Dear, because it's quite hard for us to do this. This is like 1 dice. Spend 2 clues. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do it. I'm just going to put this down by 1. That feels like that's too much for us to do. Alright. Okay, so that's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into turn 4. So, and that means the Eldritch token is done, and we've got the first mystery. Yay! Cry goes well. So let's see what the next mystery is. And the next mystery is Voice of Azathoth. Oh, this one. Most musicians describe this 18th century Italian opera as unplayable. A bit like this game, when this comes up, it comes as no surprise that the composer was executed for heresy. When an investigator would gain an artifact, he may gain the Massa di Requiem Shuggay artifact instead. At the end of the Mythos phase, an investigator may spend clues equal to 1 to discard this, to solve this mystery. So we've got to try and get an artifact, which can be win some, lose some, I'm afraid. Anyway, so there we go. So we move into, as I said, turn 4. We are here in Arkham. I want to get rid of the Zoog, so I'm going to stay here. I'm going to rest, first of all. So that will bring that up to 4. I'm also going to draw a focus. There we go. That's a nice one to have. And also, spend 1 focus in place of spending 1 clue, which is quite a nice thing as well. So it's worthwhile having a focus token. So that's our 2 actions. We rested, and we got ourselves a focus token. Encounter. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to defeat this Zoog. So, he's a 1 and a 1, and we get a willpower. So we get a willpower plus 1 test, so that's 4. We're going to use our spirit dagger, which means we get 5 on this one. And we get 2. So I think we passed that perfectly fine, no problem. Then it's an observation it's an observation -1. Oh, I didn't see that. So it's an observation -1. Okay, so we'll move these out of the way. So we've got to try and defeat it on observation -1. So we roll this up, and we get a 6. So we get a +1. I might use the other focus token. See if we can get a second one. Let's roll this up. Oh, we get a 4. Okay, so we get a 1. So we pass, and so that means we don't defeat the Zoog because we only got a 1. I didn't realize that it's actually observation -1, so that's really annoying. So the Zoog stays with us. This is a very annoying monster. And that means, yes, so that was very annoying. I didn't realize, I didn't read it. I've not done this before. So we need to, this is actually quite difficult for us to do. Yes. Still, we gave it a go. We just didn't quite make it. Oh well. Okay. So that was the encounter phase. So we move into the Mythos phase. We flip the Mythos phase. And here we go. We get a clue. Where's that clue? A clue goes into number 5, I think, where we started. So we will put that here in the middle of America. Very nice. It's not far away at all. And the nature, so it's Buenos Aires. There we go. The nature of these holes in reality has changed. No longer just doorways, otherworldly energies are flooding into our world. These forces are reaching out to everything nearby and pulling it all into the swirling void that exists between dimensions. When a gate spawns, each investigator of that space gains a lost in time and space condition. As an encounter, an investigator on Buenos Aires may work with the scientists and the university to return the trapped citizens to the real world. If he passes, he may spend clues equal to 1 to solve this rumor. So this is just ongoing, unless we get to Buenos Aires and deal with it. Okay. There we go. That's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into our phase, and we are in 5. So the main thing we've got to do is try to do a couple of things. Is try to get ourselves an artifact from somewhere. Usually that's on place. That's like for an expedition, or maybe gaining a clue, or something like that. We do need to gain some clues. I don't really want to try and fight the zoo again, because unless we've got lots of, like, we could draw a focus and we could try again, but it's kind of quite a difficult exercise to manage to get rid of it. It just means we just have to make sure we keep getting items along the way so that we don't lose our spirit dagger. That's the only thing we've got to think about. So what I could do is I could use my ship token, and I could move to Buenos Aires, because you gain ritual spells there anyway. So I'm going to move to Buenos Aires, and I'm going to gain a focus token. And I think you do this as an encounter. So all we need to do is, once per round, you may spend a focus token in place of spending a clue. There we go. When you perform a focus action, recover it. Okay. So that's our 2 actions here in Buenos Aires. So in terms of our encounter, we'll get rid of this straight away. An investigator may work with the scientist to return the trapped citizen to the real world. So it's a law of 4. 3, 4. There we go. So let's see how we go with a law of 4. Yep, we pass. If he passes, he may spend clues, so we can spend this focus token instead of a clue, and solve this rumor. So the rumor's been solved. There we go. So that's gone. So that's the end of that turn. So we got rid of that. We don't want to be lost in time and space. Okay. So we will move now into the Mythos phase, and the Mythos phase gives us, so this moves round to here. So the Doom track goes down 1. I haven't seen the Doom track move for a while. There's then a Monster Surge, anything which is green, and I don't think we have any green ones, which means we'd actually spawn a gate, I believe. Spawn a gate. So let's do that. So what do we get? We get the Amazon, another red one. This is really going to trip around when the Amazon, unless we get rid of them. And we get a Maniac. We get a Maniac in the Amazon. I think it might be worthwhile taking a little trip to the Amazon and getting rid of that, because otherwise I think we're going to end up, it'll move 3 otherwise. And then a clue. And the clue is on Tokyo. Clue on Tokyo. Okay, the otherworldly darkness will no longer tolerate your meddling. It fills your entire being, threatening to break you if you will not do its bidding. Alone you are helpless. Your only hope is to appeal to a power of equal or greater might. No time to be alone. Each investigator must resolve one of the following effects unless he discards a promise of power condition. Lose 3 health and 3 sanity, impair 3 skills, gain a Dark Pact condition. I'm gaining a Dark Pact. I'm not doing those other things. A Dark Pact condition. Deal. Here we go. We'll get a Dark Pact condition. Okay. Man, those other ones. Impair 3 skills of your choice or lose 3 health and 3 sanity. No, thank you. Oh my goodness, that was really, really nasty. Okay. So there we go. That was the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into the action phase here. So I think what I'm going to do is, we still don't have an artifact, but I'm going to move here to the Amazon as a first action. And a second action, I think I'll get another focus token. That always seems like a good idea. All right, so that's our 2 actions. So, when did I do this last time? Spend a focus instead of spending a clue. Well, that was in the Mythos phase, so we're in a new phase, aren't we? So I should have actually clicked this over to 6. Forgot to do that. Apologies. Okay, so now we have an encounter. So we have an encounter with the Maniac. So let's see. 2, and we have a will +1. So we have a will of 4 compared to the Maniac. So let's have a go. Let's see how we go. Yes, so we get 1. So that's all we need. So that's fine. Now, we're using actually we should have made it a 5, shouldn't we? Oh no, 4. So now we are going to we're going to roll 3. Whoops. We're going to roll 3 because we're using our Spirit Dragger. 3 in terms of a strength encounter. So we'll roll those up. And we get 2. Wow, we do well here. Whoops. No. Oh dear. That's not correct. We better roll it again. Sorry. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it and I'm going to get rid of my focus token, so assuming that we would have re-rolled and we would have got 2. So 2, versus 2. Again, we need something better in terms of fighting because we're just not getting anywhere with the fighting. How frustrating. So it's just 2 versus 2, so we don't kill the Maniac, which means we don't get to do that. That is very, very frustrating. Dear. Okay, I should really check out these things before I fight them. So next time we need to try and get ourselves something like a Tommy gun or something, or even a bullwhip maybe. No, we really need the Tommy gun because we're just not. Our fight is just so weak. Okay, so we move into the Mythos phase. We flip the Mythos phase, and we get So we put a clue on the table on 18. No, that's not 18. Where's 18? There it is. Okay, and then we get one of these rumors, and that goes on space 21. Space 21 must be up here somewhere. it's over here in Australia. Okay. The narcotic manuscripts have been disturbed, and a powerful force conspired to keep their ancient secrets hidden. Somewhere in the ruins of the city of the Great Race lies the source of these guardians, safely guarded secrets. If an investigator would resolve a research encounter, a monster ambushes him instead. If he defeats the monster, he resolves the research encounter as normal. As an encounter, an investigator on Space 21 may explore the underground library. If he passes, he discovers summoning runes and destroys them. Resolve this rumor. Okay. Oh, okay. That's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into our phase here. And I think the first thing we've got to do is we've got to try and get something better to fight with. So what I'm going to try and do is try and buy myself something a bit better. So we will use our 2 influence and see whether we can... actually, no, first thing I'm going to do is get myself a focus token. It's the first thing, in case we need to re-roll something. And then we will roll 2 dice, see what we get. Yes, we get a +1. Ooh. That would be helpful as well. But I really think we need this Tommy gun for a +4 for combat encounters. So I'm going to take another deck condition. I really am. Oop, taking them all. I'll take 1 deck condition. And I will. So that's 3. Is it 3? It is 3, isn't it? Or is it 2? No, it's 2. So that would only give me 3. Oh, the Tommy gun's 3, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. So then we'll grab the Tommy... that one. We'll grab the Tommy gun. That's our 2 actions. Let's see what we flip next. Profane Tome. Right. I don't think we need that, but the Tommy gun's going to help. All right. So that's the end of our... So we did 2 actions. We got ourselves a focus token, and then we got ourselves back into debt, and we got ourselves a Tommy gun. So let's do this encounter again with the Maniac with a Tommy gun now. So let's go ahead and do this. So first of all, we get a +1. We get 4. So we 5 actually. So with the Spirit Dagger, we actually get to roll 5 in terms of will. Yeah, we get 1. Whew. So yes, we pass that, no problem. Then with the Tommy gun, we get 4. But it's -1, isn't it? So we get 3. 1, 2, 3. So we roll 3 of these. And we really need to get... wow. What am I doing? Not 3. We get +4. -1. So that's 4, 5. -1 is 4. So we get to roll 4 of them. Is that right? So we've got 1. Then we add another 4. So that gives us 5. And then we take 1 away. So 5, so that's 4. And we can use our focus if we need to. So we'll roll those up. What do we get? 6, a 5, and a 5. Very good. Okay, so that's 3. 3 by 2, 1. Yeah, we kill the Maniac. Wow. Okay, so the Maniac is killed. Fantastic. Oh, that's good. So then we have an encounter. We'll do a gate encounter here at the Amazon. See how we go here. In the cavern of flame, this is the Dreamlands. The bearded priests Nasht and Kaman Tharn warn you that it is too dangerous to continue. You insist that you possess the knowledge you need and are resolved to enter the Dreamlands. Will -1. Roll 1 additional dice for each clue you have. So, Well, I don't have any clues, so I'm basically, it's just 2, oh dear. 2 will. Let's see how we go. No. So we can spend the focus and try another one. Yes, we get a 6. Fantastic. After gaining access to the Dreamland, you find yourself fighting moon beasts on a black galley sailing to the moon. Strength. If you pass, steal their treasure, and you are able to barter with it. Close this gate. Now, this isn't a combat encounter, so we literally have 1 dice to pass. Oh, my goodness. All right, 5 or a 6, let's go. Yes, we got a 6. I can't believe it. We did it. Oh, my goodness. Close this gate. Okay, so we closed the gate. Fantastic. So that's good. Managed to close the gate, but no artifacts. We've still got no artifacts. So we need to go somewhere where we're going to get some artifacts. Yeah. Okay. So that's the end of the encounter phase. So we move into the Mythos phase, and we get, okay, so this moves around 1 to blue. So yeah, there is 1 blue, isn't there, in London? So the Doom moves to 10. A monster surge at there. So we what do we get? A Chthonian. Heart of Africa. And then a clue. Plenty of clues coming out. And this one is in Tunguska with the colour out of space. The problem with the clues now, though, is that we've got this here, which is all the way over here. So we really need to kind of resolve it, really. Yeah, so anyway. This is not an issue the Syndicate can resolve via normal channels. The well-dressed agent passes a sealed envelope across the table to you. We need your help to trust you can be discreet. The lead investigator gains 2 task unique assets and then discards 1 of them. Task assets, hey? No. Nope. Just trying to do it this way. Task, here we go. When you perform an acquire asset action, you may spend 2 or more successes to place an equal number of Eldritch tokens on this card. If you do, flip this card. And that's also a task, so let's put that one out. So what's this one? Once per round, when you improve a skill, place 1 Eldritch token on this card, then you may flip this card. When you improve a skill, probably that seems like it's more likely we're not going to do that one, so let's keep this one. So this is basically when you perform an acquire assets action, you may spend 2 or more successes to place an equal number of Eldritch tokens on this card. If you do, flip this card. There you go. Might be worthwhile looking at. Okay, so we move into go 8. And 2 actions. First action, I think we should test. I think we should probably take a focus token again. Seems a handy thing to have. And then let's do this. Let's test this. So that's a 2 handshake. Yes, we pass. If you pass, discard this card. Fantastic. Okay, that's good. So that was our 2 actions. So we didn't get to do this one. We didn't get to go anywhere. So encounter in the Amazon. So let's do that. No, that's not going to give us anything. Whoops. Let's put that back. Shuffle those up. America, Europe, Asia. Is it America? No, the Amazon must be just a general card. Yep. So it must be a wilderness. Let's hope it gives us a set of some kind. Wilderness. A hermit offers to guide you on a spiritual journey of fasting and meditation. Willpower. So that's 3. Let's see how we go. Yep. If you pass, you unlock new skills. Gain 1 talent condition. What's our talent condition? When resolving a test, if you do not roll any 1s, you may re-roll all of your dice. Wow. Okay. Very nice. All right. But no assets, no artifacts. Still. All right, so that was our encounter. So we move into the Mythos Phase. We flip the Mythos Phase. So again, this goes around to here. Now there are 2 of these, one on Shuggay and the other one... Where's the other one? Oh, did we get rid of 2? Oh, okay, so there's only 1. I thought there was 2. So the doom moves down to 9. Okay, here we go. Lightning bolts. So the Zoog, not the Wendigo. Where's the Zoog? The Zoog here. This is nasty, the Zoog. Move this monster to this investigator. That investigator discards an item possession. Okay, so it moves here. Okay, so what are we going to lose? Probably the Tome of Secrets is what we're going to lose, unfortunately. Don't want to get rid of the Tommy gun. And then I think the next thing that we do is the Dark... Let's flip over the Zoog again. The Dark Pact. Roll on a die. On a 1, it is time to... So, yeah. So we'll roll 1. Don't get a 1. Phew. Okay. So we don't. Fine. Okay, that's... I don't... Oh, no, the Witch... What's the Witch again? If we've got a curse condition. I don't think we've got a curse condition. Dark Pact condition. But no cursed condition. Okay, so that's all fine. So then we draw a gate. And we get Tokyo. Of things in Asia. With a cultist. Tokyo with a cultist. Okay. Lots of stuff happening in Tokyo. Okay. Alright. There was a time when you took comfort in the company of others, but no longer. You have sacrificed so much for them. Are the desperate masses even worth saving? Can the human race ever hope to earn its redemption? Each investigator may discard any number of ally assets. Then he loses 1 sanity for each ally asset he has. Each investigator that lost sanity from this effect also gains a madness condition. We have no allies, so no big deal. Fantastic. All right, well, we'll move into turn 9. We are here with the Zoog in the Amazon. What the hell do we do? Where the hell do we go? What do we do? Where do we go? Yeah. Well, I don't want to... Well, I'm going to move to Buenos Aires, first of all. Because I'm going to try and get rid of this rumour over here. Actually, Sydney also lets you improve your strength. But trying to get an artifact is... Okay, and then for our second action, we are going to perform an acquire assets action. So 2 dice. Let's roll them up. and we don't get either of them, and I think we can use this. When resolving a test, if you do not roll any ones, you may re-roll all of your dice. Let's do it. Let's roll them up and see how we go this time. Still no good. And then we flip this. And it says, although your composure in the face of the unknown is Olympian, the fabric of reality and reason are being stretched to their limits, and it's taking your toll. Oh dear. With your companions constantly looking to you for guidance, you feel yourself beginning to slip. Resolve the effect of your choice. Lose 1 sanity, then flip this card, recover all of your sanity, and then discard this card. Well, just lose a sanity. That's fine. Okay, well that didn't work out. We could take 2 because the Zoog is around. Or we could use the focus token and roll again. No. I think we take another deck condition and we take the Profane Tome. Okay. So that's the end of our turn. Let's just put something on here. We get the Mysterious Tome. Then the focus, reroll a die, and resolving that, you may reroll it. Oh, okay, nice. All right. So an encounter, we could do a Buenos Aires encounter to gain a ritual spell. Let's do that. So Buenos Aires, flip. Buenos Aires, a beggar is chanting. Gain 1 non-incantation spell. Okay, a beggar is chanting. Gain 1 non-incantation spell. Okay. So we get that, which is Conjuration Test. If you test law +1, if you pass, you may gain 1 item or trinket asset from the reserve with value equal to or less than the test result. Then very nice. And also gain an agreement condition or test -2. If you pass, gain the condition he rewards you. Gain 1 relic unique asset. So I can gain an agreement condition. Or I can test -2, which would be a 4 -2. Well, I might just gain an agreement. Do I gain an agreement condition? Getting lots of conditions here. If you pass or gain the condition, he rewards you with a relic. So in that case, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to test -2. So that's 2. We pass. 1 relic unique asset. Unique asset. Oh, stop. That's not a relic. That's not a relic. That's not a relic. That's not a relic. No. Tome. That's a task. That's a task. That's a tome. Where's this relic? Task. Task. Ah, a stone tablet. When you perform a rest action, you may attempt to decipher the carvings on the tablet. If you do, flip this card. Okay. 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 So that was, that should be up there. It goes on there. So we've got all of this stuff now. We've got a tome. You can conjure things up. But we still don't have an artifact. We've got a tablet. How do we get an artifact, ladies and gentlemen? Anyway. That's the end of our go. And so we move into the Mythos Phase. Flip that over. So again, it moves around to blue. So there's Tokyo and London. So we go to 7. We then have the lightning bolt. So the Zoog moves to us and we lose something. Well, we thought we would. So we can get rid of the relic. We can get rid of the profane tome conjuration. So I think we just get rid of this one. So just an item, yeah. Put that in the item bit. We don't have a cursed condition. So we don't, the witch doesn't affect us. Don't know if any of the others, no. None of the others do anything particularly. Oh, hold on, the cultist. No, that doesn't do anything either. So then we've got these ones here. So the Dark Pact, roll 1 dice on a roll. It's time to fulfill your destiny on the Dark Pact. So let's roll the dice and hopefully don't get a 1. And we do get a 1. Let's see. The chanting reaches a fever pitch. The cult leader places a ritual dagger in your hand and tells you the time has come. You must pay the blood you owe to the children of the Black Goat. Oh. Another investigator of your choice is devoured. Discard this card. Well, there isn't any other investigators. Okay. Oh, well. Fine. I can assume that nothing happens there. And then this one here, we've got to flip this card and see what happens here. Walking into the alley, you hear the distinct ticking of a watch. An intruder dressed in a fine black suit stands in the shadows. He tells you that he'll help you in exchange for an undefined favour. You may gain a Dark Pact condition. If you don't, the ticking noise begins to hypnotise you and advance the doom by 1. I think we'll take the Dark Pact condition. Search for a Dark Pact condition. There we go. Get another one. Okay. All right. Well, that was very eventful. Okay, and then we get a gate. And we get Istanbul. Not Constantinople, we get Istanbul. I have a feeling we should be there, but we seem to be a million miles away from there. And monster. Got another cultist, so that sits there. Okay, and then finally, the old man stares into the fire and speaks quietly in his native language. His grandson listens closely and then translates for you. The skin of all things has been cut, but the young man indicates a cut on his own arm. A scar makes skin stronger. If Doom advance this round, retreat the Doom by 1. Yes, it did advance this round, so we retreat it up by 1. Oh, that's good. Okay, great. Turn 10. We're still around. We're still trying. So we've got 2 actions, and we still don't have an artifact. So, much as I would like to do things like do this, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a ship token. First action. I'm going to spend the ship token and go to Sydney. I really need to, and hopefully we might find something here, but also improving our strength might be just the thing we need. So, okay. All right, encounter phase. Now we can either just, let's just see what we do with Sydney. Let's flip, see what Sydney says. Zombies surround a muscular man. You try to summon the courage to rescue him. Will -1. That's 2 dice. Will -1. We roll it up. We fail. But we don't get a 1. So I think here, when resolving a test, if you do not roll any 1s, you may re-roll all of your dice. Let's do it. Let's re-roll again. No. Let's try rolling and 1. Let's use the focus token. Let's roll another dice. Yes, we do get it. But however, we've got to flip this first. We can lose a sanity. Yep, let's lose a sanity and flip the card again. So we did pass it, but we used up everything. If you pass, the Irish Boxer is eternally grateful. Gain the Kid O'Brien unique asset. If you fail... Okay, so Kid O'Brien unique asset. Okay, interesting. Kid O'Brien unique asset. Well, that was unexpected that we would get a... what does Kid O'Brien give us? Once per round, you may add 1 success to your test result and resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. Reduce the damage of monsters you encounter by 1 to a minimum of 1. Wow. Fantastic. He's a great ally to have. Wow. Brilliant. Okay. Good stuff. But still no... Still no artifact. Anyway. Okay. So, Mythos Phase. We flip the Mythos Phase. And again, this moves around to here. So then the Doom goes down by 2 because now we do have a in Istanbul. So that goes down to 6. We get the Lightning Bolt, which means this Zoog attaches itself to us and we lose something again. So the which item do we want to lose this? That's not an item. That's an item. I think we lose this one. So we get rid of yet another item. We're not cursed. We don't have a curse condition. So we don't need to worry about that. Zoog is here with us. Is that right? Is that every single time? Goodness, that is awful. Yeah. Okay. Roll 1 die. On a 1, it is time to fulfill your part of the bargain. Let's see if we get a 1. Oh, not a 1 again, I hope. Just got 1 before. No. So we're fine there. Okay. So I think that's all of the lightning bolt effects. So we can, we can draw a gate now. So we get a San Francisco. We get a Proto Shoggoth. Right, so I've got a lightning bolt for next time. Move this monster 1 space towards the nearest investigator. Then the investigator on the space immediately encounters the monster. Well, he's miles away from us, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Okay. So, the flowers in your hotel have begun to wilt at your touch. The dogs in the street now whimper and cringe as you pass by. No matter how elegantly you dress, strangers look upon you as a leprous beggar. Oh dear, strange affliction leading better gains a blight condition. Oh my goodness. Probably something here, isn't it? Blight. Alright, let's take that. What's this say? When you gain this card, discard an ally asset. Oh. Oh no. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Sorry, kid. I'm just too disgusting to hang around with, huh? Allies you surround you act erratically and without cause. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh well, okay. There we go. Alright, so we move into turn 11. So we're here. We still don't have one of these. So we're going to move. What's this say? I'm going to move this to number 21. I am going to gain a focus token. And that's the end of our movements, actions. And then it says, as an encounter, an investigator on Space 21 may explore the underground library. Search, so we get 2 search. So let's have a look. Yes, we do it. If he passes, he discovers summoning runes and destroys them. Solve this rumor. So this rumor's solved. That's gone. We're now here in the middle of nowhere. Maybe that we can get an artifact here. We'll give it a go next time. We might just stay here and see how we go. Okay, so then we move into the Mythos Phase. And the Mythos Phase is the wind suddenly picks up, causing a shiver despite... Oh, hold on. Got to move this around. So this moves around to blue. There's 2 blue, I think. Yeah. So this moves down. My goodness, this is down to 4 now. We're not much time left. We've really got to get this artifact. And then we go into the lightning bolts. We don't have a curse condition, but the Zoog comes with us again. So we lose another item. We've got 2 items. So I guess I think I'm going to get rid of the Spirit Dagger because we're actually weakest in strength. So I'm going to get rid of the Spirit Dagger. Yes. So there we go. Okay, that's one thing. Dark Pact. Let's see if we roll a 1. Nope. And then here, when the allies you surround yourself, flip this card. For an instant, you see evil in your friend's eyes. Resolve the effect of your choice. Gain 1 madness condition. Lose 3 sanity and unpair what? Oh my goodness. That is terrible. I guess we get the madness condition. So what do we get? We get hallucinations. When you perform a rest action, you may roll on a 5 or a 6, discard this card. Okay. Oh dear. All right. And then we've got to be careful because I think this is... Oh no, it's a curse condition. It's a little bit different. Okay. So there we go. That's those. Then we get a gate. Whoops. Ha. What gate do we get this time? We get Tunguska. Get a Sand Dweller. A Sand Dweller in Tunguska. Sounds a bit... There's a lot happening in Tunguska now. Okay. The wind suddenly picks up, causing a shiver despite clear blue sky. Looking at the horizon, you see steely grey clouds approaching. Each investigator discards clues equal to the number of Rumour Mythos cards in play. There is 0. If there are no Rumour Mythos cards in play, draw and resolve 1 Rumour Mythos card from the game box. You are kidding me. Right. Okay, so we put out a clue. $12. Put a exclamation mark in the Himalayas. And 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plateau of Lang, several ruined monasteries have begun to reverberate with a strange chanting noise. No matter how far you travel, the sound never quite disappears from your consciousness. As an encounter, an investigator on the Himalayas may dispel the ghostly chants. He may spend clues equal to 1 to resolve this rumour. When there are no Eldritch tokens on this card, solve this rumour. Each investigator impairs his high skill. Then, oh my goodness, that's terrible. That's a terrible rumour. Oh dear. Okay. So there we go. That's the end of that. Okay. So we move into turn 12. We're really getting to the pointy end of this now. We are here. We really do need to find an artifact. So I'm hoping we can find one here. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a rest action. So when we take a rest action, When you perform a rest action, well, first of all, we will put this up to 7. You may roll 1 die on a 5 or a 6. You can discard it. 1. Let's get rid of the focus and let's try again. Oh no, I don't think you can do that. It's not a skill test. Sorry. I just realised that was something I realised you can't do. It's not a skill test. It's just on a 5 or a 6. Okay. Okay, so that was the first thing we did. I don't think we can do it. Okay. So the other thing now we can do is, I think I might use this because I don't want, if we get the Zoog again, so test +1, law +1, so that's 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's roll them up. Yes. Whoops. If you pass, you may gain 1 item or trinket asset from the reserve. 1 item or trinket asset, not an ally. Item and tome. Well, I'm just going to take the bullwhip because I'm probably going to lose it to the Zoog. Then flip this card. Now I got 1, 2. I got 2 6s. If all of your wishes materialize before your eyes, you may gain any number of item or trinket assets from the reserve with total value equal or less to your test result. Okay. So we only took 1. So we could take another 1, but we can't. So there we go. That's all right. So we flip Arcane Tome. Okay, so that's the end of our action. So encounter, we're going to take an encounter here in the wilderness in the middle of Australia. Come on, Australia! Give us an artifact. Is it an artifact we want? Yes, come on, give us an artifact. Wilderness, please. No, being away from the city offers you a chance to practice meditation techniques in peace and quiet. You find that calming your mind awakens things within you that you never knew were capable. You may spend 1 focus to improve a skill of your choice. Okay, we'll spend 1 focus and we'll improve our strength skill, I think. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. Still no artifact. Okay, we move into the Mythos Phase. This artifact is really hard. Move the Doom around another 1, so that's onto the red. And there are 1... No. Is there just 1? Yeah, there's just 1 red. So that moves the Doom to 3. There is another Monster Surge. So we put a monster onto a Byakhee. Whoops. And the Byakhee goes on to Shanghai. Clue. San Francisco. That this mockery should take your place is the universe's most vile insult. And yet there it is, just beyond your reach, wreaking havoc and undoing all the good that you have accomplished, smiling all the while with the face you see every day in the mirror. Spawn the doppelganger epic monster in the lead investigator space. Okay, this looks bad. The lead investigator gains a lost in time and space condition. Yep. If the lead investigator already has lost in time and space conditions, spawn one gate and spawn the doppelganger epic monster on that space instead. Okay. So we're kind of lost in time and space. The doppelganger is now here. And what happens when roll 1 die on a 1 and a 2, advance the doom by 1? Oh boy. Okay. Nasty. Alright. Okay, so we move into turn 13. We are lost in time and space, so we can't do anything. Unaffected by other game effects, cannot move or perform actions, so we just move straight to the encounter. Flip this and see what it says. The silhouette of a man towers before you, standing behind a veil of shimmering stars. You hear the being's voice in your mind, offering an escape from the emptiness. You may gain a Dark Pact condition to place your Investigator token on a space of your choice. If you do not gain the condition, spawn one gate. Place your Investigator token on that space and advance the Omen by 1. No, I think we will... so we will do that. We will get ourselves another Dark Pact condition. And so we will flip this over. Great. That's all we need is 2 Dark Pact conditions. And is it space of our choice, was it? Yes, so we can go anywhere we want. Wow. Where do we want to go? Well, we probably want to go somewhere where we think we're going to get artifacts. Is there a particular place on the board that's particularly good for artifacts? I don't... Improve... Defeat monsters, improve. I don't think there is. So I think the best place to go is to Istanbul, because there we can do that. So let's move ourselves up to Istanbul. And that's that. So we flip the Mythos Phase. And again, this moves around to the blue. So there's 2. For that, London and Tokyo. So the doom moved down to 1. Oh my goodness, it's like, I don't think we're going to get this one. But anyway, we can try. We don't have a cursed condition. The Byakhee, though, no, it's not the Byakhee. The Zug moves to our space. Oh no, the Zug's there now. So we're going to lose the Bullwhip. There's something else which, not the cultist, not the witch, not the Byakhee. Where is it? Proto-Shoggoth, that's right. The Proto-Shoggoth moved the monster 1 space. So move him here. It's got a clue on him. Move him here. Okay, so then test will. If you fail, flip this card. So three dice. Oh, we pass. Roll 1 dice on a 1. So let's roll a dice and hope we don't get a 1. Roll. We get a 5. And we do it again for the other Dark Pact, because we've got 2 of them. We're full of Dark Pacts tonight. 2, so they're also all fine. Not that it's going to matter. We're literally 1 away from everything finishing. Then we spawn another gate. In Buenos Aires. Turn it upside down to really... Oh, the Hand of Tindalos. Oh, let's move this monster now containing an Investigator. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nasty. Okay. And finally, Everywhere you go, people keep only those belongings that they think they need or they think that will be valuable. They keep only what they can carry. The rest they burn or bury, featuring the inevitable looting that will come with the end of the world. Mass hysteria. The lead investigator chooses a number between 0 and 3 and advances the doom by the chosen number. Then search the asset deck, discard pile and reserve for all assets with an value equal or greater than 2 plus the chosen number and return them to the game box. Okay. Well, we're obviously going to choose 0. I'm not going to go through the asset deck at the moment. I'll just assume anything that is 2 or greater has gone, right? Which is things like the mysterious tome. So that's gone. So we'll put something else here if we can. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, there's nothing under 3 that we can get. Okay, otherwise it would have been the end of the game. Okay, so we turn 14. End of the game is close now. So we are here in... I'm not sure how we're going to do this now, but anyway. We are here in Istanbul. And I can't see how we're going to... I can defeat the cultists, but the Zug is where we have a problem. Because in order to defeat the Zug, we've got to roll 2 dice, and we have to get a 5 or a 6 on both of them. So I suppose it's possible we could do that. Because we do have this composed, we could... Why don't we try it? Because we need this artifact, and I'm not sure how else to do it. So let's get a focus token as one of our actions. And the other action, I think, is we take a rest. And I think on a rest, 1 die on a 5 or a 6, discard the madness. What do we get? We get a 2. Okay, we'll leave it. Alright, so a counter phase. Let's start with the Zug. Let's see if we can get rid of this Zug. Okay, so first of all, we do a will +1. So we'll do a 4. We just need to get a 1 here. Oh, we don't get a 1. You know what? We'll just take the madness. So we take the madness. And then we're going to roll 2 observations. So this is where we've got... So we'll do 2 observations and see how we go. We've got to try to get a 5 or a 6 on both. So we roll them up, and we get a 6 on one, but only a 3 on the other. So let's put in the focus token. And no, we obviously want to... Oh, we want to keep the 6. So we know we got a 6. Let's put this back as a 6. I think you can... 6. There we go. And then we'll get the other one. So we're re-rolling this. So we need a 5 or a 6. We don't. So what I'm going to do is... I'm going to do this. We're going to re-roll all of your dice and see if I can get a 5 or a 6 this way. No. So that was completely a waste of time. We'll lose a sanity. Flip it back. So unfortunately, we didn't manage to... and I think we then... Because we didn't get one, we take another damage. We take a damage as well. There we go. So this Zug is really annoying. So there we go. That was that's the end of the encounter phase. So we move into the Mythos phase. This could be the end, ladies and gentlemen, and I think it is. Yes, we move this around by here. This goes to 0. This flips. And indeed, the world is devoured. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions tear the Earth's crust apart at a rate faster than the devastation can be recorded or comprehended. As the planet's atmosphere grows increasingly toxic, the insects of Shuggay return to their ships and teleport away, anxious to doom a different world. Eventually, when every living thing on the planet has been reduced to a cinder, a new outer god emerges from the ruins and joins Azathoth's court at the centre of all things. Investigators lose the game. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. We survived 14 turns. as Jacqueline. We actually started out pretty good. We did get one of the mysteries, but we just couldn't get an artifact. I don't know how you reliably get an artifact in this game, but that was incredibly frustrating. We had spells and items, as many as we wanted, but finding an artifact was particularly annoyingly difficult. I don't know whether there are particular ways to get artifacts. My understanding is that really it's just sort of the luck of the draw that you get one. And this one always seems to be a problem for us, is finding an artifact. I've even tried being on the exploration space, and you don't always get an artifact that way either. So I'm not sure we would have gotten one. Let's have a look. Let's see, we would have gotten an artifact. No, is that the one? Yeah. No, we would have got a unique asset. So this is really, really frustrating because finding a place to gain an artifact is just very, very frustrating. So I'm not sure, and there doesn't seem to be a specific place on the board where you can go after artifacts. So it really meant that we didn't get anywhere for a number of turns after starting reasonably well. But anyway, that's all right. We did better than Harvey. So thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Any feedback would be most welcome. Next time we will be running through Eldritch Horror with, let's just shuffle these up 4 times, 2, 3, 4, with Silas Marsh, the sailor. So he will be fronting up to take on Azathoth next time, and we'll see how he goes. But until that time, I'm Krabby Terror 8. Thank you very much for watching.